What's up everybody, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we are fixing the dad bod. Well, there was a movement that said, you know what, dad bod's not too bad. I disagree. You're actually just unhealthy. You're allowed to look like that, it's fine. If you're happy, I'm happy for you. But we're going to talk you through how to lose your dad bod. Maybe you've got comfortable, maybe you've gained that 20 pounds over the last 5-10 years and you don't quite know how to get it off. You've tried, you've done diet phases, maybe you've done 10 weeks, 12 weeks, lost a lot of weight, and then just put it back on again. I'm going to now talk you through how to lose that dad bod in 12 weeks. And this is going to be steps towards building your goal. So I think really 12 weeks is more than enough to change your life. You start to build habits, you start to see the transformation, but you also start to get the motivation from that to like keep the ball rolling, right? And that's all you need. You just need to see that progress and then it works. So there's a few phases, this should say 4, there's a few phases of changing your dad bod. Number 1, training, nutrition, recovery, effort and consistency. Roll all of those in and you're moving forward towards your goals. So the first 1 to 2 weeks, aka foundations, this is like taking you from just nothing at all to making a big change. My first thing here for you is form. I want to make sure that you are performing exercises at a very good level of skill, right? And you're not going to have it straight away, which is why you want to focus on tempo, connection to the muscle, and just figuring out where that is. You also want to be focusing on where your maintenance calorie is. I wouldn't worry about losing fat straight away. I would just want to make sure we just want to figure out whether you're metabolically sound to cut or not. So if you find that you eat 2,000 calories and nothing happens to your physique, you don't lose weight, you don't gain weight, there's probably a little bit metabolically low to then go, okay, let's go into a calorie deficit. Let's go to 1,000 calories. No one's going to 1,000 calories. But if we find you start at 2,000 calories, you lose weight. We add to 2,200, you lose weight. We get to 2,500, you lose weight. And we keep building that up to a maintenance level of 2,700, 2,800 or a place that's like adequate to cut away from, then you are metabolically okay to go forward. That's like the 2 scenarios. So super simple things to do with your diet, like initially in those first 2 weeks, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, 50 grams of fat, and then 200 to 400 grams of carbohydrates, depending on what your body weight is in size and your height. If you're like 6'3", 280, maybe towards 350, 400. If you're like 5'5", still heavier, like 240, then maybe towards the 300. And just try and get some consistency with food timings. I think one of the things that people struggle with in that dad life is like they got kids, they got to do their breakfast first, they got, they're busy at work, they can't eat lunch, and they have inconsistency in food. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, if you can get a snack in there as well, that's great. So training, what should you do? You should have some type of structure to it. Same exercises, same form, and kind of go in and try and progress those every single week. You want to make sure that the sets and reps don't change. I don't want you to change anything. I want you to do the same sets for the same set ranges and only focus on feeling the muscle in those movements. That is literally it. I don't really care if you get stronger. I just want you to lift a weight that feels medium heavy and just allows you to feel the muscle, right? And think about the muscle. I want you to feel the pec. I want you to feel the bicep. This is going to start to stimulate the muscles. This is going to help to progress you in terms of building muscle. I want you to do cardio straight off the bat, like being healthy, walking up the stairs, playing football with kids in the park. If you're out of breath, I don't want to say it, but you're probably thinking it, right? You don't want to be there. So ensure you got a baseline level of cardio in. Like, the standard recommendation for like the health association across the world is like 60 minutes a week. I would push more towards 80 minutes a week. And you can just do this low intensity, steady state cardio, right? Just get the heart rate high. It's going to allow you to oxidize more fat, burn more fat. It's going to allow you to get fitter. It's going to allow you to train harder. It's going to allow you to walk more, feel better, and ultimately metabolically recover as well. So those are like some real foundations you can put in. The diet, structured training program, make sure you're doing a bit of cardio. Weeks 2 to 6, I call this meat and potatoes. You've kind of got the setup, now you've got to do it. So form should be standardized at this point. If you filmed yourself, the video should look the same next week. You know where your maintenance calorie is and you know whether you can go into a cut or bulk, and you've decided, right? So if you are okay metabolically, you can start to pull yourself down into a deficit, start to increase that cardio. If you're not metabolically sound, please refer to my skinny fat module or my skinny fat lecture. It's literally the same process, just building up. Same thing with the diet. I'd continue the consistency. I'd maybe start to adjust carbohydrates and your fats based off your level of fat loss. So protein remain the same. If you're not losing weight, probably reduce carbohydrates first. And I wouldn't take fats below 40. Training, you now should be progressing. Things, those first 2 weeks where things feel a little bit unstable, you'll be a bit more stable in your lifts. You should be getting stronger. Your form is standardized and you should be progressing consistently. Most importantly, you should be tracking it. So you should know when you go into the gym, you've got a 20 kilo bicep curl to do for 8 reps because you did 7 reps last week. And unless you have seen zero progress, you should not touch your volume. Just keep it the same this whole process. Playing with volume is a little bit advanced for just trying to change your physique to get a bit healthier. Cardio's got to be tapered up. Once the deficit is identified, you've got to taper that cardio up. I would say that you want to take this inevitably to a maximum level that you can do that fits in with the time available. Like, of course, maybe buy a bike at home or a piece of equipment at home that you can help maintain it with. And I'd keep your steps around 6-7K kind of pretty much all the time, and you can start to like increase that by like 1 or 2K. If you're someone who doesn't count steps, doesn't do cardio, doesn't do training, you have to build these things in very slowly, which is why we've got weeks 1 to 2, barely any steps, 4 or 5,000, weeks 2 to 6, 6 or 7,000, and then guess where they're going to go after this. So you can see everything is just like cranked up a little bit. So we'll talk about week 6 to 12, which is the final chapter. In reality, it's not, but it's the final chapter of this. Training should be getting better and better. You should continue to progress the whole time. If you're not, then we've got to think about it. You should really start to have an understanding of macros and also like when you're hungry and not at this. So you've been doing this for 6 weeks, and now you can start to think, right, where can I put this food that makes me less hungry, that allows me to stick to my goal longer? Is it towards the end of the night? Is it different types of food? You want to start thinking about that. At this point, fat loss should be occurring. Diet, protein stays the same. I wouldn't take your fats below 40 grams, and carbs would be the main reduction point there as the rate of loss slows. Again, 1 to 200 calorie changes at a time. Try and take it either from cardio or deficit or food at a time. Just one at a time to adjust. Your training should continue to progress. Your form should be standardized. Your intensity is standardized. You are now starting to be aware of like those signs of fatigue. So you got to the end of the sessions, you're like, ooh, that set was a bit rubbish. And this is where your brain starts to go, okay, well, how do we make this not rubbish? Okay, let's play with volume, let's play whatever. Cardio, again, if needed, I'd probably wouldn't go above 5 lots of 30 minutes initially. I think going above that is a lot of time consuming, especially for someone who's trying to make a 12-week transformation. At this point, after 12 weeks, you could probably look to be taking small deloads, whereas where you feel very, very tired, energy's very, very sore, or hard, and your body's sore, you could just take 3 or 4 days off and reduce that fatigue and carry on. So you can see again, it's progressed, like the knowledge has progressed here as well. So what are like the expected results? You should probably average around 1 pound of week per fat loss through this phase. Maybe even more if you're much more heavy. Like I've had people at 300 pounds lose 2 or 3 pounds a week. Consider whether the further fat loss is required when you're in a position to build muscle. So, you know, let's say you do the 12 weeks and you go, oh, I've still got body fat to lose. Like, can you carry on, or are you like at the end of it? That's what you got to decide. Again, like if you're metabolically fine, like you're still eating enough, you're still losing body fat, carry on. If you're not, we refer back to the Skinny Fat seminar because we just put that process in place, and you can start to see how these videos will all start to link into each other now. Nutrition, you understand maintenance, you understand minimum requirements of protein, you know, you don't understand getting into a deficit, you understand consistency, you understand putting carbohydrates around training. You know, that's what you can expect as well. By the end of this, you'll start to notice, especially if you've got a good coach or a coach and you've not had carbohydrates pre and post workout and they suddenly go, can you do that? You'll go, oh fuck, I feel that. Cardio, obviously you're going to be tapered up. I'll take cardio to a maximum capacity you can handle and then remove it during periods of very, very high fatigue. Of course, you've got to push through, but I would definitely try and remove that where possible. I would use steps as a big target for you as well, especially if you're cardiovascularly challenged. That's a nice way of saying unfit. If you can't do like 20 minutes on something, add 2,000 steps in. You know, I do 14,000 steps and only 20 minutes of cardio for that very reason. Steps are really, really easy. They're low impact. What do you do next? Like, are you done? Like, no, you're probably not. And realistically speaking, a dad bod change that you've put on in 10 years is not going to change in 12 weeks. This is where we have to start assessing what the reaction is and how everything is, right? So I'll let you read through this. I'm not going to read through it because it's pretty much the same as the last ones, but you know, listen to the signs that creep in with fatigue, hunger, how you feel. Are you really like, oh my God, I want this diet to be over? Because normally that's when it should be over because you're sick of it. So we want to try and get just before that point. But if you are good, I've got a great client called Connor, and he's gone from 125 kilos to 106 and he's still fine. Hunger's good, Appetite signaling is fine. Some people are just fine metabolically, others are not. So that's it. That's how you change it. You want to get control of everything. Train hard. Number one, build muscle. That builds your testosterone. That builds muscle mass. That burns body fat. I want you to find maintenance calories before going into a deficit. I want you to have cardio year round so you can perform and run and do what you need to do when you need to do it. Slowly decrease food until slowly decrease food, slowly increase cardio until you find that point of like wheels metaphorically falling off, and then pull this back, reverse up, reduce fatigue, reboot metabolism, repeat. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this helps some dads out there. If you guys ever struggle or can't implement these things, or you want to change your life for you, for your kids, to be part of it, to be a huge part of it, and to be a leader, then comment down below or just hit the link in the description box and you can book in with a free call with me, how we can talk about how we can get you to your goals. So guys, hit the link. I look forward to talking to you, and I hope you enjoyed this video.